It's like a trash bag, like.
Okay.
It's like.
Would you all please rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to the February regular meeting of the Edgar County Board. Thanks for being here. Carl will not be here today. Work dictated that he's going to have to miss us today. So, Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Lorenzen. Here. Chick.
Here.
Ludington.
Here.
Patrick. Here. Bruner. Here. Voigt.
Here. Okay, we do have a quorum. Now we need to deal with the minutes of January 9th of 19 and a special meeting of January 11th, 2019. You all received those. What's your pleasure? I'm looking for a motion to approve those as presented.
So,
Eric moves, John seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Next, claims against the county. Likewise, you've had these for several days. Are there any questions or clarifications needed? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
So moved.
Dan moves, Andy seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are carried. Okay, county board claims. You have had those for several days. Are there any questions or clarifications on those? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the claims of county board members.
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Now we come to the time in the meeting that we ask for public comment. We ask that you identify yourself and limit your comments to 5 minutes. Are there any public comments this morning, please? Sir, if
Yes.
you'd come up to the podium, we'd like to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, Steve York, and I would like the board to see if they can meet at night so more people could attend these meetings,
We'll discuss it.
because that would get a lot more people involved from the county.
Okay.
Appreciate that, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. York. Any further discussion? Comments? Hearing none, we'll move on with the items for the highway department. Do you want to give us just a general overview or a minimal amount? We're basically looking at we're looking at Staley Bridge project. Basically, we need to pass a few of the ordinances or resolutions if the board is so desires. And we got a bid in that we're probably going to look at tabling at this point. How do you want to do this, gentlemen? We had a lengthy discussion on this on Monday morning, so.
I'd say just briefly why we're taking it.
Okay.
Not get into
Well, the
detail.
first resolution is authorizing the board chairman to sign a promissory note with Interstar Corp. For a revolving loan for the USDA Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program for the Staley Bridge. That one we do want to act on because we do want to nail down the funds, all of the funds that we have, and commit the project. So I'd entertain a motion on that to approve. John, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had one clarification question. I assume if we go ahead and sign the note and something falls through on the project, we pay it back, we're only out a little bit of interest on that amount of time, and
We won't even get the money until we need it, right?
Yeah, the current agreement, we have one note already within the second note. We give the treasurer's office and they charge us like 1% interest and Don can make that. So generally speaking, it's a wash. And I like to have the money in our possession. It takes a long time to make this happen.
so we can run when we can run.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
And yes, to answer your question, the first loan's sitting in the CD, Don's got it sitting in the CD, and if
Right.
the project should fall through, we'll just pay it back.
Okay.
Is there a motion to approve that authorization? Dan moves. Derek seconds. Further discussion. Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruin.
Yes.
Does carry. Resolution authorizing county board chairman to award and execute a contract with the apparent low bidder for the following. Staley Bridge. Now, that came in high, okay? We're looking to rebid that here in the next 30 to 60 days, roughly?
We don't know for sure when we'll rebid it. We'd like to rebid it right away, but we're not convinced that IDOT will allow us.
Okay, we're
But
still,
in the next 6 to 9 months, depends on when we can start. If we can't start till the fall, we may wait a few months to rebid it.
would it be better just to turn down this resolution rather than table it?
Is that possible?
Yeah. Just all vote against
Yeah, we're-
awarding the bid.
We are rejecting bids, so I would recommend that you do that.
Yes, I think that would be preferable. Otherwise, it'd have to be on the agenda on each meeting until we took other
I think it
action.
dies if you don't bring it off the table next month, but I don't know Robert's rules that well. I think it'll just die. I support you guys rejecting the bid.
Okay. Motion?
So moved.
So moved to reject the
Wait, do I
apparent,
have to sign a bunch of stuff because we're rejecting the resolution? Okay.
and Phil seconds. Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Chittick,
Are we voting to reject the bid? Okay, then yes.
Where have you been?
Luddington.
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Bruin.
We're voting on the bid.
Fine.
It does carry. Next, we want a resolution authorizing the county board chairman to sign BLR 05511 local agency consultant agreement with Hillard Bookkeeping to appropriate motor fuel tax funds for various construction guidance and documents in the assistance of the Staley Bridge project. Is that necessary at this point?
Quickly, I'll be quick. I hope you guys can ask questions if you'd like. Hillard's exceptional catch. We want to use him anytime we can. The Cronus project, the big Cronus project in Douglas County, I think you guys have maybe heard about it. It's a huge.
I do.
Okay. He's been committed to that. They're dragging their feet over there.
Mhm.
So he was able to come back and help us with this project. I'd like to nail him down,
In other words, it's
but I would like the board to
active,
support
you're-
keeping him.
right.
So I'd like you to pass a contract that would not require him, but that would show that the board supports him doing the documentation when and if this project happens.
Motion? For the rest of, Andy moves. John seconds. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes.
Luddington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Bruin.
Yes.
Oh, 5-0 passes. Resolution authorizing county board chairman to sign BLR 05512. That's a construction engineering agreement that's tied in for the Midwest Engineering and Testing for construction engineering for Staley Bridge. This one I think we do want to table rather than reject. It's just not time to do it yet.
So moved.
Derek moves. Andy seconds. All of those in favor of tabling this motion, or this resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It is tabled. Next item is a resolution authorizing county engineer to prepare and sign a letter of intent between the county and multiple townships indicating desire to transfer jurisdiction of county highways to township jurisdiction. You want to talk, well, there are several townships that we've been in contact with over the last, 2-3 months. And it's starting to come together. And as they have these agreements, we'll bring them in. You'll know about them. I think we've discussed some of them already. So I think we're at the point where we want to support the engineer on that with the resolution so that we can, as we heard these together, we could take advantage of them.
So moved.
Question?
Could
Derek move, John?
could you list the townships real quick, just for the record?
The possible townships, the ones in the resolution are Young America, Ross, Prairie, Roulettes, Edgar.
Okay,
Yes. Derek moves,
I'll second.
John seconds. Further discussion or questions? Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Chittick,
Yes,
Luddington,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
and Bruner.
Resolution for improvement of BLR 09110 appropriating motor fuel tax for the following project, that'd be the Grandview Road. And all that, those numbers there mean Grandview Road. So, you wanna say anything briefly on this?
The department has indicated that of our two TARP applications, this one is still in the running. And if we do get TARP money, of course, you'll have to fund half that project, and this resolution will do that.
TARP money, by the way, looks like it's gonna be going away, so we wanna make sure that we do everything right that we can to attract monies for good projects and reasonable projects while we still have the opportunity. Any further discussion? Motion, please, for the resolution.
So moved.
Derek moves, Dan seconds. Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen,
Yes.
Chittick,
yes,
Luddington,
Yes.
Patrick, and Bruner.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Now we move into action on the contract between the County of Edgar County Sheriff, and the Illinois FOP Labor Council deputies for it's the agreement with the deputies for the period of December 1st, 17 through ending November 30th, 20. Now, we're not gonna sign anything till Carl and I think the attorney's gone through it, but I'd like Andy to read it carefully, the sheriff carefully, and I think you all have copies now, or either electronically or in person, to make sure that it's exactly what we have and agreed to, so, but I'd like to have a motion to approve that so we can move on.
I have
Yes,
a
John?
question. What's the difference between that and the resolution that we passed to accept the arbitration finding
The
last time?
difference of that is we were agreeing to accept the judgment of the arbitrator. This one is actually to authorize the signatures, okay? It's a technicality. Augie and I may be being a little super careful, but we'd rather do it carefully and than not dot one I or cross one T and have something messed up, okay?
Okay.
That way, in 5 years or 3 years or whatever, somebody looking back, they know exactly what we did and when we did it, okay? Motion for the resolution, or do we need
Just a motion.
a motion would be fine. Andy moves. Phil seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay?
No,
Okay, it carries 4-1. Okay, Mr. Clerk, you want to talk about your new possible polling place in Chrisman?
Be glad to. We, in your packet, I believe you should have received copies of a letter from the Community Unit School District Number 6 Board of Education that basically says we do not want our school to be a polling place because it is disruptive to the learning process, and would you please move out? Well, simultaneously, we received a letter from the Chrisman Church of the Nazarene, who said we'd be more than happy to host the polling place in Chrisman. So Jeff and I toured the facility, and it meets my expectation. Also, I have the approval from the state's attorney, as long as it satisfactorily meets the ADA requirements, which it does. And so with that, I would recommend that we move that polling place, and then I think a lot of people
Excuse me.
that in the Crispin area will be relieved that it's no longer in the school gym.
So we need a motion to accept moving that polling place.
So moved.
Dirk moves, John seconds. I'd like to thank Augie for the work he did in coming up with the place. I know you've been working on it for a while, and we appreciate it.
May I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
Before they vote. Yesterday, I got an email, a legislative update, and amongst the 100 bills that are being introduced now at the beginning of the season, one of them, which has strong support, is to mandate that schools be closed or have a teacher institute on the day of an election. So I'm not saying that all this is for naught, but I don't know if that's gonna pass. I think it will, but be that as it may, I still would encourage we move forward. We have a motion and a second.
Okay, any further discussion or questions, please? Hearing none, all those in favor?
No, it's a roll.
I'm sorry, it's a roll.
Yes.
Mr. Clerk?
Lorenzen.
Yes.
Chittick.
Yes.
Luddington.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes.
Brunner.
Yes.
How many polling places do we have in schools? We don't have.
Well, now, we got,
You know,
we moved Shiloh, Kansas, and Crispin. Now we have Paris.
I read this thing and what their objection was, and it really kind of strikes home safety of students.
That's
You
what,
have a polling place where, and it really isn't our fault, Larry, but anybody could walk in, you know. And as long as students are around, we're all in danger. If all the steps are being taken in these years, I don't know if we ever should have one in the school. If it's ever possible, sometimes it's not possible.
yeah. I appreciate that. The remaining polling places would be Wentz and Memorial. And I'm open to suggestions. I have received a letter from District 95, basically the same letter. The place that they mentioned as an alternative or a suggestion, number one, I haven't had time to go and search that out because changing this polling place with the number of precincts involved and the amount of money that I have to spend for the postage on new voter registration cards, the timing of all of that was not right for Paris. Crispin was in line ahead of them, so I'm going to address Paris. And there's also a piece of legislation that's being introduced where now, instead of, right now, if a precinct exceeds 600 voters, then the county clerk shall split those precincts. And that's what we did to Sims. Well, now, there's a bill that says if a precinct exceeds 1,200, the county clerk may, at the direction of the county board, split those precincts. So, you know, the big word is may versus shall, and now they've upped the number. So when they pass this, it would have all been for naught that we split Sims. So, and it makes it, well, anytime you split a precinct, you got Sims 1, Sims 2, Ross 1, Ross 2. I haven't looked into putting those back together, but it just seems administratively it would be a lot easier, and then it also removes any confusion by the voters in those precincts. So that's a long-winded answer, but that's what's hot right now in the legislature. So I would look for some action to occur, and I'll keep you updated on that. Thank you.
Okay. That issue did pass, and we will be moving that polling place to the Nazarene Church in Crispin. So, okay, the next item on business is to authorize the county clerk to bid out the ambulance service with the caveat that the committee still has to hammer out the final details on that, which we have gone a long way in doing, I think, after the meeting on Monday and the next study session. So, but this will give us the opportunity to bid it out and make it timely once we're ready to, instead of waiting for the next board or special meeting. So I'd entertain a motion to authorize the bidding out of the ambulance service for the next 5 years.
So moved.
Second.
John moves, Derek seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And it does carry. Thank you, gentlemen. So, Derek, is there anything else we need to do housekeeping wise, I think, to prepare for that?
No, as far as the board, and I appreciate having that done, so, hopefully, let's look at my calendar here, hopefully we'll have the final product close to it, by the end of next week. And then, I assume if we've got all of our ducks in a row, Augie, that it won't be an issue if we really won't have to discuss or pass anything at the study session, but we may do one final pass. Is it gonna be feasible to get that out by the end of the month?
By the end of February, yes,
Okay.
we'll get that out.
Cool.
Very good. Yes,
You made any progress on Northern Edgar County ambulance service? That
Well-
was anything, or-
I think they're looking still at number one, looking at getting together with the fire departments and issuing it that. Their attorney has also said, which is different than what our attorney has said, that they can do a special district on their own, which can or cannot, we don't know. In any way, we've adjudged, and we've been on the discussions that we need to move forward, and it seems to make sense that whoever gets the bid, successfully gets the bid, that they be willing to negotiate with us and or the Northern Edgar County Ambulance Service to be developed within the contract. We have renegotiated the contract during the terms, or during the length of the contract before. And if they're gonna get paid more money and have a large service, seems like that would make sense. Or if they do it the other way and they go with the fire departments, then they don't need us. But we need to move forward to get our
We've had plenty
issues.
of time to work on that.
Right.
Yes.
Does that characterize that all right, Derek?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. Are we done? I don't want to cut us off if there's any more questions. Okay, officer, department head reports. We'll start with Don,
Okay, thank you.
harbinger of doom.
Yeah. Needless to say, remember the disclaimer I'm going to say. This represents cash flow. That's physical money. The other report I give you is the ledger that not only the receivables, the payables, the revenues, the expenses, and because of this accrual system, I've now finished accruing the first pay in December was now assigned to fiscal year 2018 because it covered a pay date that ended November 30th. So I've moved expense into the previous fiscal year. Also on the accounts payable of December 12th, most of the bills on that December 12th applied to bills from November, so I've assigned those. That's all part of it. So any department head that wants to see how their department ended up with these accrual adjustments, stop by, give us a call, whatever. I know last year these accruals put a few over on budget. I haven't even looked at them yet this year to see how it affects, but that's the way it is, nature of the beast. You start using this accrual system, it's basically wanting you to assign the expense in the right pay, or the right month. Having said that, you see that our cash flow is down to about, I'll just round it up to $90,000. That's basically because cash flow is down. That's all there is to it. We're spending more than what we're getting in. We have yet to receive anything yet this month except sales tax, so we still have quite a bit. I've already spoken with the chairman earlier today that on the agenda next month, we will have where you guys will authorize me to seek out tax anticipation borrowing. Last year, we didn't have to. I don't think we had to for the past 2 years.
We authorized it, but we haven't
Yeah.
had to.
Last year, I didn't even take this step. I didn't even ask because things were going well enough, I didn't think so. But this year, we're gonna definitely make it through the end of the month, and I don't want people thinking we can't pay our bills. We can pay our bills, but we're just gonna have to resort to previous used funding like we've had to do before. It's not unusual for agencies to have to seek out this kind of funding. So, any questions, comments?
Remember that everything that we've gotten in probably from the state and any income has been what was owed us for last year. But remember, the budget is on accrual, but this sheet is cash flow right to the date. So we haven't received anything. We haven't even received we haven't received anything from either clerk's office or anything else, which usually is a substantial amount of money. So, and the only thing we've received in is what, sales tax?
Right.
So, and that's minimal anyway, so.
If you will look at I don't know if you looked at that other report that Jeff handed you. The very back page has my chicken scratches on it. We did take in let's just call it $260,000 in receivables, and that affects the cash flow, but it also doesn't come in as receipts for this fiscal year because it was for last year's. So it just really, in my mind, in my opinion, it distorts the numbers, but that's what the wonderful state wants us to do. They prefer that. So, for the annual financial report. That's the only reason we're doing it that way, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, Aaron, do you have anything to add? Angie?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I just have a couple of things I wanted to mention. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Criminal and Traffic Assessment Act. The state is redoing the way we assess fines and fees. Some of our fines and fees will be going away that we have been charging in the past. And then, I have a training next week, I'll know more next time, but they're trying to make it more uniform across the state, that the different counties charge about the same thing, which, okay, and then the other thing I was gonna mention is I'm gonna sign a contract with Court Money, so we'll have a different credit card processor. They're based in Illinois, out of Marion, and GovPay is out of Indiana, and this one is more user-friendly, and I just think it'll be a better deal. And that's all I have.
Any questions? Anything else, Angie?
No?
Hey, I got a question for Ange. I think a couple, 2-3 years ago, I talked to a representative from Court Money at one of my conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that same system can be used for county clerks.
It can be used for county clerks. The health department's looking at it right now.
Okay.
Jails can use it.
The jail can use it, and they can like take bail bond money and drop it into our account. I mean, rather than writing us checks and that sort of thing. There's other perks, I mean.
Is there a better deal to be had the more the county deals with that?
We don't pay anything for their service.
Okay,
I mean, it's,
just,
they're charging the people, they're not charging us. So and they are guaranteed, the money's guaranteed. If there's a dispute, we still get our money, just like GovPay.
okay.
But we have a representative, so.
Which is one of the kid that owned it, you talked to,
The one I talked to is Tracy Roan.
Okay, you got somebody else.
She's been after me for a couple of years. I mean, she's at every conference. I mean, you have a face. Before, I think Karen signed up for GovPay like in 2012, and I have never seen a person ever. We had a training over the telephone, and I just think this would be good.
So what's everybody else on, or do we have separate systems now? Is everyone on GovPay currently? What's,
Within the county,
and I don't expect you to.
but you're on GovPay now, aren't you? Yeah.
I'm on Municipay, just for tax collections.
She talked like yours probably wouldn't be able to,
No, I
you
don't-
probably wouldn't be able to do
I
court
don't
money.
think so. And ours is the same thing, it just doesn't cost the county anything.
Subsidiary Manatron.
Anyway, doesn't cost anything, it's all on the back of the person that wants to use their debit or credit card, or an electronic check.
Okay. What about you?
I'm on cash, or
Coin of the realm.
certified bank check.
Bitcoin. Well, so I guess the answer to that, I would assume, is if everyone's on the same system, I mean, is there occasion besides you two where there's cross pay? Would there be an advantage to, I mean, would it help your office, all you to have something like that?
I'm looking into it, but the issue is how I make that system charging, how that works with my other bookkeeping system, which is part of my recording system.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's more complicated than that. But yes, I am looking into alternatives, and it's just not enough hours in the day.
Okay. Monty?
Well, things are going good with probation. All the officers attended a mental health first aid training last week. So we're gearing up to be better situated to handle crisis as they develop. Things are looking good.
I thought it was therapy.
Ours is just first aid intervention. We
Training.
pass the therapy off to the
You didn't
experts.
have any therapy? Okay.
So,
On the other side of the
on
room.
the other side of the room.
Any questions of Monty? Nicole, how are you today?
Good, thank you. I don't have anything for you guys.
It's nice to see you anyway. Thanks for coming. By the way, I might note that Tom is in negotiations from the airport, so he sent a little note saying that he wasn't gonna be able to be here today.
Doing school board stuff.
School board stuff, negotiations. He's on the negotiating team. Dina? Good morning.
Our news is that we're down an employee. We had a girl leave for another opportunity, so we are in the interview mode as of later this morning, actually. We have one final hearing left on February 22nd to close out the 2018 year. As soon as that's finished, we'll balance, get abstracts to the state, roll everything to Augie. So we should be a little more on schedule as far as tax cycle. And we have already begun the 2019 reassessment, and that's the northeast part of the county, which is Ross, Prairie, Edgar, and Grove Creek. Sorry.
Get 'em.
Did you say get him?
Did I say that out loud? Sorry.
Any questions of Dina, please? Sheriff?
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have Ken Pokey with us today. Ken, did you have anything that you wanted to address the board with, or?
If you don't mind, because I haven't been here for an update for a while, so if I could take maybe 2 minutes to.
Well, you can have a little more than that if you'd like.
First, I want to thank Lonnie and his staff for participating. This was a training made possible in cooperation with HRC and the 100 Women Who Care in Clark County. Derek Sanders, Deputy Derek Sanders received an additional certification as a result of those grants. And so he was able to put that on. And what this does provide us is an additional adult instructor to teach the mental health first aid course. I'm an adult instructor, and between Derek and I, we're available to provide any other instruction that the county may be seeking for its staff. It's an 8-hour certification course. What's nice about having Derek on board with the adult training, as a law enforcement officer, he can appeal to law enforcement, probation, and others. And so this is a good course that is not only for probation and law enforcement, but may be good for anybody in the county who interfaces with the public and may need to have some additional expertise in that area. So I want to encourage anyone who's interested in a training, we can do that for free. Also, just to update you on a few things, we've been averaging about 10 enrollments per week through our open enrollment process. And what that means is somebody doesn't have to have an appointment and they're not waiting for months to get in. We have a system now where someone can come to our Paris office and get in for a mental health concern the same time they walk in the door. The open enrollment hours from 8 to 3, Monday through Wednesday, and I think it's 11 to 3 on Thursday. That's significant because people don't usually have a moment of clarity for very long. You know, they may think, I'll go in for help, but if they can't get in there, that may be just a passing fancy, so to speak. So we're seeing good results as a result of that open access, and we hope to continue to expand that. I also feel the pain of cash flow, Don, so you're not alone in that endeavor, and I think it just suggests that post-election, the state's kind of slowing down a little bit on their payments, but we're trying to weather the storm there. We are also eagerly anticipating a collaborative project with Horizon Health in the very near future. You hopefully will hear about a groundbreaking associated with a building that will be going up over at our 753 East Court Street location. It'll be situated on Horizon Health, on the Horizon Health campus. But so watch out for a release on that groundbreaking, and hopefully will come before the end of the month. So we're excited about that because what that will do allow us to provide facilities for a crisis center. And we're an outpatient program, but often what will happen is someone will show up in the hospital ER with a mental health crisis. Maybe they are suicidal or otherwise have a form of psychosis that needs to be dealt with immediately. Often you can't get these individuals into a secure psychiatric facility, and they end up spending a lot of time in the ER when, even after they're medically stable, there's no place for them to go. So this crisis center and this collaboration with Horizon Health should really give us some resources to make available to the hospital as well as the community that are sorely needed. So if you have any questions on any of that, exciting times, and we're looking forward to these additional expansion of services. We've ramped up a little bit with our direct care staff. We've added a couple clinicians so we can try to stay ahead of the curve. But you know, we're very encouraged that we're going to be able to meet the county's needs for mental health and SUD services on an outpatient basis. There's still that challenge if you need to send somebody to detox, if you need someone to be in a resident program long term. We just don't have that in the county. But we're going to do what we can on an outpatient basis.
Any questions of Ken? Thank you, Ken. We appreciate you filling us in and being here today. Thank you. Augie?
Well, the only other thing that I have is just to let you know that early voting begins February the 21st for the consolidated election, which is April 2nd.
That it?
That's-
Loading the equipment up and going for that.
Well, thank you for reminding me. Yes, our new voting equipment is in, and Liberty is coming next week to do a pre-check, just to make sure that nothing has, that since shipment, that everything is just perfect, and then they're gonna come back and get us set up for early voting next week sometime. So, yeah, it's all here. I'm still shuffling rooms as far as where I'm gonna put everything, but.
Hey,
What do you do with all the old stuff?
That was my question.
Well, the old stuff needs to be disposed of, and it needs to be recycled. So, and there are places that will take the old voting equipment. Strip out all the stuff in it, the hardware, or the the software, the copper, whatever else they want, I mean, so that it doesn't pollute the landfills.
As far as you know, it doesn't cost us anything on the recycling?
As far as I know, it doesn't, but I'm going to obviously find out definitely before I start unloading it.
We could start a business, Andy, we could dismantle them voting things if you want.
I wanted to make a note on Don's report. Just looking through the budget, I wanted to let you know that we had a payroll hit early, so we've already had our second payroll this month, and normally so that's 80+ thousand. We've also already paid in for our audit. It's kind of as you go rather than at the end getting billed. So there's 90-some thousand between those two things. And then not having gotten anything in yet to speak of except sales tax would put us generally in the range of where we were the last 2 years. So just to let you know that. Moving on to, or any other questions of department heads or anything? All right. Next, we got committee reports.
I have nothing.
You have nothing? Andy always.
Sorry, just a quick thing.
Please.
I guess it falls under health. Is I had a request from a courthouse employee. Apparently, Jeff, you guys had someone come out and do hepatitis vaccinations at the jail?
Yeah.
Through county, just through our health department?
Health department, yes.
Okay. Is there a way we can coordinate that for any pertinent courthouse personnel that might be in contact with individuals that might be so infected to get health department out here to vaccinate on a day for any employees that want it?
I'll contact Janet and see what she
Okay.
says. Okay.
Yeah, we had an inmate come in already infected, correct, Jeff?
Right.
Then he wound up at DOC. DOC alerted us. The judges remanded him immediately to us, and then he went to DOC, and then all of the vaccinations were coordinated, if that helps, through the health department. I wasn't aware that there was any contact here at the courthouse.
So it was someone in Mark's office that said that they came up to the door and
Okay.
most of their complaints
Well,
was
we
they
don't
had
have to-
hepatitis.
Sure.
So,
And they
I don't
can,
know the names of people because of HIPAA regulation.
Right.
I mean, there's, what, if I have 10 or so cases altogether, I believe, around.
yeah, I mean, hell, if I don't have a problem if somebody that isn't necessarily there wants to get a vaccination, that's there. but-
Yeah, that's fine.
and I think they can go to the public health office and get it.
I would think so.
So, you know,
Sure,
whether
but
it's
just
easy to bring
as a
somebody.
service, you know, just like they do it for the jail.
Maybe
Sure.
something
Was
in
the
paper,
request.
so I'll talk to him. See what
Okay.
I can do.
Cool. So that's handled?
Yeah.
Okay. You have nothing to report, Andy?
Just basically what I said on Monday, that we're gonna talk to Ross, that we've gotten the okay from Derek.
I told Ross you'd be coming to see him, that there were some things to be subtracted, some things to be added, and that we needed to get it bid out. He is aware of that and looking forward to getting with you, okay?
And nothing.
I guess I just had one thing, related to our flooring was made, but just general cleanliness. Augie, besides the one issue, anything else with our just maintenance, cleanliness of the courthouse? Any other complaints you've heard or?
Other than
would
those
like to
John
voice?
downstairs.
Yeah, no, I haven't received any more complaints. The staff, the crew from HRC has been coming,
Right.
I still think it's 3 days, but maybe 2. And when Bob was gone, I was much more involved. Now that he's back, not so much. I don't know how much communication is going on between Bob and HRC, so it's a big building. You can probably walk out the door now and put your hand on something.
Right.
Dust, grime.
Can I interject here? I
Please.
think it's important that our agreement be, that the committee and that Bob not change that agreement because of what he perceives or not perceives. I mean, we need to coordinate that so that we're getting done what we need done.
Right, well, is
when
that a
we need
concern
it.
that Bob's gonna change there
I
should
don't
not
know.
be a
It
concern
has-
of that at all, right?
What is the?
You never know.
Yes, that's what we're,
So, the HRC has a group that comes in and cleans the courthouse, right? And so, my concern was, you know, are they doing a job that we see as sufficient? Do we need to readdress that? Do we need to talk to Bob as far as communication with whatever individual is kind of in charge of that group?
I think all of the above,
Okay.
don't you, Kim?
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to meet the needs of the county and make sure it's done to your satisfaction. So
Okay.
we can adjust as needed.
I would like to add, I haven't seen any contract, so I don't know the full job description, but I can tell you that they are doing a very good job at what they're doing. Okay, so that's not the issue, but I don't know what they're supposed to be doing, see? But the things that they're doing very well.
Now that Bob's back, he needs to know what we want them to do, so he understands too. It's just
Well, and I
communication.
guess, are there any limitations or anything they're not going to do? I mean, I don't expect them to be out on the, you know, 5th story doing windows, but.
Can they
They
caulk
could-
the roof?
Fix the clock while
Roof
they're up
repair,
there.
you know, yeah, but, yeah, I mean, if there's anything that falls outside.
There's
their
no
purview.
complaints, we just make,
No,
make
right.
sure everybody's on the same page communication wise. Okay.
Because there's
Something
certain
to take
things
to
that
Bob.
he knows to do and can do, and other things, certain other things that I'm assuming that your crew wouldn't do, maybe certain chemicals on the floor, you know, things like that. I'm starting to get in deeper than I really need to be, but
Sorry, I
I
waited
have,
you out there, but.
no, I haven't seen any kind of a written contract, so I can't speak any
I guess the
deeper.
question is.
Sheriff has that, don't you, Sheriff?
Yeah.
Yeah, sheriff has that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I can email a copy to you, Augie, if you want, in terms of the copy. I talked about the scope of work, what's listed and what isn't listed, so you can decide.
Yeah. But the committee ought to get Bob and whoever needs to be together and just make sure everybody's on the same page. Okay?
And you can meet in the bathroom downstairs.
Yeah.
Nice and tight.
You all bring plungers.
Yeah, plenty warm.
I did, by the way, contact the company. Derek gave me the name of a company in Champaign that actually does that.
Oh,
concrete
that
floor.
floor work?
And they said they, in fact, yeah, we just got done doing about 3 or 4 bathrooms in your area. So they do that. I came in, I guess the courthouse was closed yesterday,
Yes, it was.
because I came up to measure and
You
look.
should have called me, I was here.
Well, were you here?
Yeah, I was here.
Well, I
Lincoln's
looked, I
birthday.
thought, "Huh, they're closed, but anyway, I wanted to do some measuring, give them some measurements, how big the rooms are, and I wanted to, they do a, where they dump a resin on top of tile. He said he prefers, if there's loose tile, to take the tile up, but if the tile's in good shape, they do make a compound that you can actually just dump on top of the tile and kind of seal it all down. So, there's a couple different things we're gonna look at. Hopefully somebody will get back with me.
Good. Is that,
Well, that's,
are you,
yeah, I would just, if I could throw my 2 cents worth in, there has to be some consideration given to redesigning that area in the men's urinal, because it's not designed.
Pee on the walls.
You absolutely almost, your half of your foot is in and the other half is out against the wall.
and
I'm
the
sorry.
lighting is terrible in there.
And the lighting is terrible, and I think it needs to be moved over. I think you need
Not a good
I
shot to
think
get
you
the
need
walls.
a half size. I don't think you need a floor length, but that's me. So,
Depends on the
there
client.
you go, on the record, that's it.
Part of that was, I kinda got in.
More information than some of us needed, right, ladies?
You wait till we get to your restroom, girls.
We'll be having a guided tour after the meeting.
Building your grounds, we can hash that out.
Yeah, we haven't really explored that option, but that would be invasive to bust that thing out of the out of the
The
concrete.
reason it's so close, that things are so close is because there's a false wall and then it's got plumbing in behind it that when they plumbed that thing. So it probably wasn't that tight and it originally.
Then they had to replumb it, and poor people got poor ways.
It's the same people did the elevator.
We'll have to meet together afterwards.
For good times.
That's it.
Who is the chairman of the insurance committee?
Andy.
You.
Good.
Austin Huxford would still like to get together with the insurance committee to talk about some of the training and other things that he would like to talk about to,
Probably good.
and he said he's just not had any luck in getting everybody together. Of course, we told him it was like herding cats, so.
Can
We
we,
had a meeting with him.
can we get the sheriff in when we have that meeting?
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
The other thing the insurance committee needs to start thinking about is setting up a health insurance meeting, maybe getting different areas of the courthouse, not just opening it up to employees, but maybe saying, you're part of the committee, you're part of the committee, and you might get better participation that way. You could still open up the meeting to everybody that wants to show, but if you had representatives like from each union, whether it be sheriff, jailer, or dispatcher, and then somebody or two people from the courthouse, since there's a lot of people here, one from the annex, one from the health, however you guys wanna do it, but we need to start looking at, I know it's February, but
I just got done with that.
I know it's,
Okay.
but we usually start too late to have any effect, and probably invite, Mr. Good to be there, so that, well,
Yeah,
I mean, do you see any other alternatives?
no, you're right. A lot of times you do. When you get there, you think, oh, I wish I,
We need to do everything that we can to make sure that we're proactive and we're viewed as proactive by our employees, okay, and the
Okay.
people we work with. And I think that'll go a long way in, just working things out to everybody's benefit, okay? Phil?
No,
John?
Ditches are frozen.
And we are gonna hold up, you're gonna do a little bit more checking on barn situation?
Yeah, I had one question I
Right.
wanna check on before we make a decision on.
That's fine.
that change.
We'll go ahead with the other leases, but we'll hold up on that one, okay?
Is there a, what was the period on the lease with
It's
Matt?
just a 1 year.
Okay, but I didn't know start, finish, you know.
Well, I think they start February 1st and end November,
Oh, okay,
I
so,
mean,
yeah.
well, not his is a yearly. The ag leases are,
Month lease.
Yeah,
we did.
I think it's March 1st and February 28th.
all right, but the payments vary, on the farm leases are due differently,
Okay,
okay? We've got time.
okay.
Derek?
I think we covered the ambulance committee. We'll assume it has any questions or comments about that. We'll continue that process. Again, shooting for a end of the month bid going out. We're meeting with Mark today to answer some questions, and then we're gonna continue to refine. Airport wise, we sold the Beacon, which is good news, our old Beacon, not the one that's mounted. And then everything seems to be on pace for the one project that's starting this spring that has already been bid, and everything paperwork wise seems to be in place. I haven't seen a lot of traffic here recently for the bid going in April, for the other half of the project going on this spring, summer.
Any questions of each other on any other issues or the issues discussed so far? Yes.
May I circle back to the insurance
Absolutely.
committee? Because I talked to Austin about this,
Okay.
and so, not to discuss it over again, but would you please let me know when you're ready for an insurance committee meeting, and then I'll get it set up. And he said that he just wants to follow up from the prior meeting that you all had with him, and the services, preventive programs for all the
Proactive and training, whatever it
proactive
is.
training, all
Yeah.
that, so just
Yeah,
let me
have
know.
people keeping us honest and getting back to some of these things, because it's always.
Yeah, just
Well,
let
it's
me
not
know.
like you guys haven't had anything else to do.
Right. So, no, that's good. And so, yeah, as many, people as makes sense, from the courthouse as well, because I mean, there were programs that basically covered everyone, so, you know, and I feel like the more training we can do within reason, the better. Yeah, absolutely.
I have something on 911. I think it's incumbent upon us, and I hate to get you in the middle of it, Augie, but we need better communication on when meetings are.
Absolutely.
Carl wasn't aware of the last 911 meeting, and we need to post those on our website, and we need to make sure everything's being done according to Hoyle and the law. So,
That's not on me, that's on, no, no.
well, you need, okay, I understand that, but,
Yes, I'll look into that.
well, we need to make sure that she understands that we expect 911 to become part of the system as far as communications.
Will do.
And, so, in a nice way.
Absolutely.
All right. Is there anything else to come before us until we go into closed session to review closed session minutes, which we're required to do every 6 months? Anything else anybody has for the good of the county? We will not, we will come out of executive session once we go in and either approve the opening up of some session minutes, or we will keep them closed. That will be the only action that we will take after the closed session. So I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of reviewing session minutes.
So moved.
Derek moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. We are gonna go into closed session here in about 3 or 4 minutes. If you need to, sorry.
Yes, we're back in.
Okay, we're back in open session. I would entertain a motion based upon our discussions in closed session on keeping session minutes, closed session minutes closed. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
To keep them closed? Derek moves, Andy seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So the closed session minutes will remain closed. Okay? Anything else to come before the meeting today? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Derek moves, Andy seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are closed. Thank you, gentlemen, very much.